Hello everyone, I'm Timmy Treacle and welcome back to my review of all the Halloween movies leading up to the new movie that comes out in October, which I'm really excited for. The movie I'll be reviewing this evening is Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. This movie was released on September 29th, 1995. Now this movie, it's either loved or hated by fans. But the producer's cut of this movie has a big cult following, which if you haven't seen the producer's cut of this movie, definitely get it and definitely check it out. But I love this movie regardless. Uh, this movie has a 5 out of 10 on IMDb, a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, but an 81% on Google. It had a $5 million budget and it made $15 million at the box office. And this was directed by Joe Chappelle, who directed the second movie. And this was written by Daniel Farrands. And the producer's cut was released in 2014 on Blu-ray. And as I said, it had a cult following, and it has 43 extra minutes of footage, and including an alternate ending. And like I said, I highly recommend that you watch the producer's cut as well. This movie stars George P. Wilbur as Michael Myers, Paul Rudd as an older Tommy Doyle, Donald Pleasance returns as Dr. Loomis in his final movie role for this franchise, Marion Hagen as Carrie Strode, J.C. Brandy as Jamie Lloyd, Daniel Harris as a young Jamie Lloyd, but that's in the producer's cut, and Leo Getter as Barry Sims. And you know how I always said that there's always one douchebag in these slasher movies that you cannot wait for him to be killed? Well, Barry Sims is that character in this movie, but we'll get to him in a little bit. This movie centers around Tommy Doyle and Jamie Lloyd, who's played by J.C. Brandy, because they couldn't come to negotiations with Danielle Harris. She didn't want to be killed so early on in the movie. It's like not even 20 minutes of the movie, she is killed. The original cut of this movie is only an hour and a half. It's very short. And there was fights over which version they wanted to release, because there was a lot of problems with this movie. They had to do a lot of reshoots. Halfway through the movie, there is a different Michael. It's not George P. Wilbur. It is someone else playing Michael because of the reshoots. And it put this movie, well, just way behind. And there's two versions. You had the one that you see on TV normally. Up until recently, they added a few scenes to make the movie longer. But you had the original cut, and then you got the producer's cut. The producer's cut is a lot better, but I still love this movie regardless. And Jamie Lloyd is with the cult that you saw the gentleman in the man in the black suit in the fifth movie. Well, he ended up breaking Michael out and taking Jamie and holding her captive. She ends up having a kid in this movie who they want to use as Michael's last sacrifice to kill off his bloodline. And one of the nurses helps Jamie take the baby and get out of there. And the first kill in this movie is so sweet. And there's spoiler alerts if you haven't seen this movie. But if you haven't seen it, then where the hell have you been? But he picks up that nurse and just drives her head through the spike that's on the wall. And he just stands there and just cocks his head. And that first kill is awesome. But he ends up chasing Jamie Lloyd down. And she hides the baby in this bus depot. And he chases her down to this barn. And he slams her through this machine and ends up grinding her up. It's really brutal. Michael is brutal in this movie, as he is in some of the other ones. And the kills in this movie are just freaking awesome. The first one I mentioned, the Jamie Lloyd, and then before the chase scene, there's a gentleman who is trying to get his truck back from Jamie. She's in the truck and she's yelling at him to stay away. And as he walks out from behind this other vehicle, Michael takes his head and just snaps it all the way around. And that's phenomenal. And then, as I said, Jamie is torn up in that barn. And then it all comes back to Tommy Doyle now, played by a young Paul Rudd, who I love in this movie. Plays Tommy Doyle. If you don't remember him, Tommy Doyle was a character in the very first movie who Laurie Strode was babysitting that night, along with Lindsay as well. And Tommy Doyle is trying to help or find out and get help from Dr. Loomis and try to hide this baby from not only the cult, but from Michael as well. So Michael spends his time going after the baby and going after another family that is living in his house. And the kill of the father in that house is phenomenal. It takes place in the basement. Michael takes him and stabs him through the chest and then picks him up. And this is a big guy. And then he rams him through the circuit breaker. And the guy starts foaming at the mouth and then his head explodes. It is freaking awesome. I love it. But let's get to the one character that I could not wait for him to be killed. And that is Barry Sims. Barry Sims in this movie is a radio disc jockey who is famous in Illinois. And he's a total douche in this movie, hitting on another guy's girlfriend when they're doing an interview. And he wants to do the interview at the Myers house instead of where they're doing it now. So he gets in his van, he's talking on his cell phone, and then Michael grabs him from behind and stabs him. And that was so, I was clapping for that because Barry Sims, his character, was freaking annoying. And of course, there's always a couple that's going to have sex and then they're going to be killed. But the kills in this movie are fantastic. I love Michael Myers in there, even though I know they reshot it and I know it's not the same person. But I love Tommy Doyle's character. I love the new characters we're introduced to. And this was a very good send-off for Mr. Donald Pleasance, although you'll find out in my next movie review, it wasn't the final one. But they still dedicate this movie to him. I believe he died before the movie was released. But, pros in this movie, let's go through them real quick. The kills are awesome. Michael is awesome. He's badass. Love Tommy Doyle. I love I love most of the new characters except for Barry Sims, but we'll get into that in a second. The setting, the tone of this movie is fantastic. The opening shot, when you see the fall leaves and the kids trick-or-treating and pumpkins, it has that Halloween feel, and I love that about this movie. Just like I loved it about Part 4 and basically a lot of the other movies as well. And yeah, those are some great positives. I love the story. I love the story of the Thorn and why Michael is doing what he is doing. And I'm glad those people actually get theirs when they're back at Smith's Grove. That's freaking awesome. The ending in this movie is really great, but the ending in the producer's cut is phenomenal. At the end of the movie, in the original cut, the one in theaters, you hear Dr. Loomis screaming. Well, in the producer's cut, which I won't spoil, it will tell you exactly why he is screaming. And like I said, definitely check out the producer's cut. The negatives in this movie, Barry Sims. I hate that character. I was so happy when he died in the movie. The movie is too short, especially for an origin type movie. You want it to be a little bit longer. You want it to explain more. And I just thought it could be longer. I like a horror movie I don't mind if they're an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and 50 minutes, as long as the pacing of the movie just moves right along. And for the hour and a half, or just about an hour and a half we get out of this movie, it's a little too tight, a little too cramped together, and I think that comes with the editing and everything. I really wish they would have released just the producer's cut eventually of this movie instead of the original. But nevertheless, I really enjoy The Curse of Michael Myers. Like I said, you either love it or hate it. I love it. The producer's cut has a cult following. I can't say that enough. And yeah, I definitely recommend that you check this one out. I really enjoy it. So with that being said, I will give The Curse of Michael Myers an 8 out of 10. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. So that is my review for Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. So in the comment section below, what are your thoughts and opinions about this movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. I really like to have a big discussion about these movies, especially horror movies. That's my favorite genre. But I love movies in general. If you like this review, hit the like button and hit that subscribe button. And please share this video with all your friends. And let's talk movies. I will be talking about some TV shows when it comes to the fall season when they start up. So look forward to those and look for more videos for the Halloween series. And then my next series I will be doing is the Friday the 13th series. So look forward to those videos in the days coming. But until then, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Check you later.